The first thing Lin Yue noticed was pain. His body ached as if every bone had been broken and poorly put back together. When he opened his eyes, crimson curtains swayed overhead, while incense smoke curled through the room. Ancient furniture, gold lanterns, silk bedding, and a terrified servant kneeling beside the bed. "Your Highness?" Lin Yue frowned. "Who?" The servant immediately burst into tears. "Please don't scare this servant." Then the memories hit him all at once. A palace, an emperor, schemes, poison accusations. Lin Yue, once the most favored male concubine in the imperial harem, had fallen from grace after being framed for poisoning noble consort Lin. The emperor despised him now. The servants mocked him. The entire palace treated him like filth. Lin Yue slowly touched his face. Long black hair, pale skin, delicate features. "I became a concubine?" The maid looked horrified. The palace he lived in was practically abandoned. Cold drafts slipped through broken windows. Dust coated the corners. The food was barely edible. Clearly, nobody expected him to survive long. Lin Yue quickly learned something else. The original owner of this body had spent years desperately chasing Emperor Liang Zhen's affection, writing poems, preparing gifts, begging for visits. Pathetic. If someone did not want you, why chase after them? So Lin Yue stopped caring immediately. "Poor thing," he murmured while examining the dog's injured paw. "No wonder you're grumpy." Soon the animals followed him everywhere. Cats slept outside his doors. Birds perched beside him during meals. The palace hound refused to leave his side. Rumors spread quickly. The disgraced concubine has gone mad. He spends all day with animals. He doesn't even seek the emperor anymore. Eventually, those rumors reached Emperor Liang Zhen himself. Liang Zhen barely looked up from his documents. "The disgraced concubine is doing what?" The servant bowed lower. "Feeding stray cats, Your Majesty." "That is all?" He also threatened a guard for kicking one. That made the emperor pause. Interesting. The Lin Yue he remembered had always been desperate for attention. This behavior felt completely different. Later that evening, while walking through the palace gardens, Liang Zhen finally saw him again. Lin Yue sat beneath a flowering tree, with several cats curled in his lap. Moonlight illuminated his pale face, while he carefully wrapped medicine around the injured dog's paw. He looked calm, peaceful, nothing like the clingy concubine from before. The emperor stopped walking. Lin Yue noticed him immediately. The surrounding servants instantly dropped to their knees in fear. But Lin Yue merely glanced at the emperor once before, returning his attention to the dog. Completely ignoring him, Liang Zhen narrowed his eyes. "You see this, emperor, and do not greet me?" Lin Yue answered calmly, without looking up. "The dog is injured." Silence filled the courtyard. No one had ever dismissed the emperor so casually before. Strangely, Liang Zhen wasn't angry. He was intrigued. After that night, the emperor visited more often. At first, it was curiosity, then fascination, then something far more dangerous. Every time Liang Zhen arrived, Lin Yue treated him the same way, without fear, without affection, without flattery. It drove the emperor insane. One afternoon, Liang Zhen found Lin Yue sitting on the palace steps while brushing a fluffy white cat. "You used to desperately seek my attention," the emperor said suddenly. Lin Yue continued brushing the cat. "And now? Now I don't." The emperor stared at him. "Why?" Lin Yue finally looked up calmly. "Your Majesty already disliked me before. Why should I waste effort chasing someone who does not care. The words struck harder than Liang Zhen expected, because they were true. He had ignored Lin Yue for years, believed every accusation without investigation. For the first time, the emperor felt guilt. Liang Zhen began inventing excuses to visit: rare tea, medicine for the animals, warm blankets for the cold palace. Lin Yue accepted everything casually, as though gifts from the ruler of the empire meant absolutely nothing. It only made Liang Zhen more obsessed. One snowy evening, the emperor arrived to find Lin Yue asleep beside the fireplace. Several kittens slept tangled in his robes, while one tiny orange cat rested against his chest. The sight softened something deep inside Liang Zhen. Carefully, he removed his outer cloak and draped it over Lin Yue's shoulders. Lin Yue stirred awake slowly. Their eyes met in the dim firelight. For one dangerous moment, the emperor forgot how to breathe. Then Lin Yue frowned sleepily. "You're blocking the heat." Liang Zhen, the ruler of the great Liang Empire, had conquered kingdoms. Yet somehow, a cold, indifferent concubine had conquered him instead. Chapter 2. Winter settled heavily over the imperial palace. Snow covered the rooftops in white, while cold winds swept through the silent courtyards. And for the first time in years, Emperor Liang Zhen found himself avoiding the inner palace concubines entirely, because every visit annoyed him now. Too loud, too fake, too eager. Only one person in the entire palace treated him like a normal man instead of a ruler: Lin Yue. Unfortunately, Lin Yue barely tolerated him. "Your Majesty has arrived." The servants immediately dropped to their knees in panic. Lin Yue, however, did not even look up. He continued grinding herbs carefully, while an injured hawk rested nearby with one wing extended. Liang Zhen stood in the doorway silently for a moment. "You truly never greet me anymore." Lin Yue finally glanced up. "You come here every day now. And you're interrupting my work." The emperor almost laughed from disbelief. Nobody in the empire would dare speak to him this way. Yet hearing it from Lin Yue strangely felt refreshing. Liang Zhen stepped closer to the table. "What are you making? Medicine? For a bird?" "Yes." The emperor stared at the hawk. "You care for beasts more gently than people." Lin Yue calmly continued mixing herbs. "Animals bite honestly." The meaning behind the words was impossible to miss. Liang Zhen fell silent, because humans in the palace lied constantly, manipulated constantly, smiled while hiding knives behind their backs. But Lin Yue never pretended. If he disliked someone, it showed, and somehow the emperor preferred that honesty more than all the fake affection in the harem combined. Rumors spread quickly. The emperor visits the abandoned palace daily. He personally delivers gifts. He stayed there for 2 hours yesterday. The harem exploded with jealousy, especially noble consort Zhao. Originally, everyone believed Lin Yue would die forgotten in isolation. Yet somehow, the emperor had become obsessed instead. "You mean to tell me," noble consort Zhao hissed coldly, "that after humiliating himself for years, he suddenly stops caring, and His Majesty falls for him?" A servant lowered her head nervously. "Yes, Your Highness." The consort's expression darkened. "Then we will remind everyone why Lin Yue was abandoned in the first place." A servant lowered her head nervously. "Yes, Your Highness." The consort's expression darkened. "Then we will remind everyone why Lin Yue was abandoned in the first place. It happened during the midwinter banquet. For the first time in months, Lin Yue attended a palace gathering after repeated orders from the emperor. The moment he entered the hall, whispers followed him everywhere. Disgraced concubine. Shameless. Why would His Majesty allow him here? Lin Yue ignored all of it, calmly. Honestly, He only came because Liang Zhen threatened to keep showing up at his palace every morning if he refused. Halfway through the banquet, a scream suddenly echoed through the hall. "Noble consort!" Zhao collapsed beside the table, clutching his throat. "Poison!" Instant chaos erupted. Servants panicked. Officials stood abruptly. Concubines cried dramatically. Then someone shouted. The wine came from Lin Yue's table. Silence crashed over the hall. All eyes turned toward him instantly. Lin Yue stared blankly. "Seriously?" The emperor immediately stood. "Guards." But before Liang Zhen could speak further, Lin Yue calmly walked toward the collapsed consort. Everyone froze. What is he doing? Has he gone mad? Lin Yue crouched beside Zhao and grabbed his jaw firmly. The consort tried to pull away dramatically. Lin Yue sniffed the wine cup once, then sighed. "Not poison." The hall fell silent. "Noble consort." Zhao's expression stiffened slightly. Liang Zhen narrowed his eyes. "Explain." Lin Yue looked bored. "He's allergic." "Allergic?" Lin Yue pointed toward the dish beside Zhao's wine cup. "Crushed walnuts." The imperial physician hurried forward to examine the consort. Moments later, cold sweat appeared on his forehead. "Your Majesty, he truly is suffering from a nut allergy." The hall exploded into shocked whispers. "Noble consort." Zhao's face turned pale because the accusation had failed completely. Meanwhile, Lin Yue calmly returned to his seat and continued eating. As if none of it mattered, Liang Zhen stared at him the entire night afterward, because while everyone else panicked, Lin Yue alone remained calm, fearless, sharp, untouchable. And the emperor realized something dangerous then. He was already far too deep. That night, snow fell heavily outside the abandoned palace. Liang Zhen found Lin Yue sitting near the window, while several cats slept beside him. "You knew it wasn't poison immediately," the emperor said quietly. Lin Yue shrugged. The consort was wheezing, and that usually means breathing problems. Liang Zhen stared at him carefully. "You are strange." Lin Yue looked unimpressed. "You mention that often." The emperor stepped closer slowly. "Do you truly feel nothing toward me anymore?" The room fell silent. Snow drifted softly beyond the windows. Finally, Lin Yue answered honestly, "You're exhausting." Liang Zhen. Any other person would have died for saying those words. Instead, the emperor laughed quietly, then stepped even closer, close enough to feel Lin Yue's warmth, close enough to see every detail of his face beneath candlelight. Liang Zhen's voice lowered dangerously. "And if this emperor refuses to let you go?" Lin Yue finally looked directly into his eyes, calm, unmoved, beautiful. "Then your Majesty will suffer alone, and for the first time in his life." Emperor Liang Zhen realized he would gladly suffer for him. Chapter 3. After the midwinter banquet incident, the entire imperial palace changed. Servants whispered whenever Lin Yue passed. Officials watched him cautiously. During court gatherings, even the concubines no longer openly mocked him, because everyone had witnessed it clearly that night. Lin Yue had not panicked once, not when accused, not when surrounded, not even when the emperor himself questioned him. Meanwhile, noble consort Zhao had quietly fallen ill from humiliation. The emperor had ordered the investigation closed immediately afterward, which only made rumors spread faster. His Majesty is protecting him. The emperor truly favors him now. Lin Yue must have used some kind of seduction technique. Lin Yue found all of it exhausting, especially because Liang Zhen had started appearing constantly, morning, afternoon, night, everywhere. Lin Yue had barely finished feeding the courtyard cats one morning when the emperor casually appeared behind him, holding a paper umbrella. "You skipped breakfast." Lin Yue sighed without turning around. You are the emperor. Yes. Shouldn't you be ruling the empire? I delegated. That sounds irresponsible. Liang Zhen looked completely unashamed. You matter more. The nearby servants nearly fainted. Lin Yue slowly turned to stare at him. That was an insane thing to say out loud. The emperor looked pleased, instead of embarrassed. 3 days later, heavy snowstorms swept across the capital. Most palace servants refused to leave the heated halls. Lin Yue, however, disappeared before sunrise, wearing a thick cloak and boots. When the emperor arrived at the abandoned palace, later that morning, he found the servants panicking. Where is Lin Yue? We do not know, Your Majesty. Liang Zhen's expression darkened instantly. You lost him? He left before dawn. The emperor immediately ordered the palace guards to search the grounds. By afternoon, snow covered nearly every path in the imperial gardens. Finally, one of the guards spotted movement near the outer forest walls. Liang Zhen arrived moments later, only to freeze in disbelief. Lin Yue sat in the snow beside a massive, injured wolf. A real wolf. Its thick gray fur was stained with blood, while one leg rested awkwardly against the ground. The palace guards immediately reached for their weapons. Your Majesty, step back. It may attack, but the wolf only growled weakly before lowering its head beside Lin Yue. The emperor stared. You disappeared into a blizzard. For a wolf? Lin Yue looked up calmly while pressing cloth against the animal's wound. It was caught in a hunting trap. The emperor stepped closer, cautiously. Lin Yue continued treating the wound carefully. Neither do I. The emperor went silent again, because Lin Yue always said things that sounded simple, yet somehow struck directly into the chest. Snow continued falling heavily around them. The wolf trembled weakly from blood loss. Lin Yue frowned slightly. We need to move him. One of the guards looked horrified. Move that thing into the palace? Lin Yue looked genuinely confused. It's injured. That's a wild beast. And? The guard opened his mouth, then closed it again helplessly, because nobody could win arguments against Lin Yue when animals were involved. The wolf was eventually moved into an abandoned stable near Lin Yue's residence. The entire time, Liang Zhen remained nearby, watching silently, mostly because he still could not believe what he was seeing. The disgraced concubine, everyone once called selfish and manipulative, was kneeling in the freezing snow trying to save a dying animal, not for attention, not for praise, simply because he wanted to. Inside the stable, Lin Yue carefully cleaned the wolf's injuries, while servants stood as far away as possible. The wolf growled whenever anyone else approached, but it allowed Lin Yue to touch it freely. Liang Zhen watched him quietly. You're freezing. Lin Yue ignored him. Your hands are shaking. Still ignored. The emperor frowned before suddenly grabbing Lin Yue's wrist. The surrounding servants immediately panicked. Lin Yue blinked in surprise. His fingers were ice cold. Liang Zhen's expression darkened instantly. You've been out there for hours. The wolf would have died. And if you became sick? Lin Yue pulled his hand free calmly. Then I'd recover. The emperor stared at him for a long moment, then suddenly removed his outer fur cloak and wrapped it firmly around Lin Yue's shoulders. Warmth immediately surrounded him. Lin Yue blinked. You'll freeze. Liang Zhen looked completely unconcerned. I'm not weak. Nearby servants looked like they wanted to bury themselves alive, because their terrifying emperor was personally bundling blankets around a concubine. Lin Yue sighed quietly. You really are strange lately, and you still refuse to thank me. You interrupted my work earlier. Liang Zhen almost laughed. This person truly had no fear. Night fell slowly over the palace. Most servants eventually left the stable after the wolf finally fell asleep. Only Lin Yue and Liang Zhen remained. Snow drifted softly outside, while lantern light flickered warmly against wooden walls. Lin Yue sat beside the sleeping wolf, while grinding medicine. The emperor leaned nearby, watching him quietly. For once, neither spoke, until Liang Zhen suddenly asked, "Why do you care so much?" Lin Yue paused slightly. "About what?" "Animals." The room fell silent again. Finally, Lin Yue answered softly, "They don't betray trust unless humans teach them to." Liang Zhen looked at him carefully. "You speak as though you've been betrayed often." Lin Yue gave a small dry laugh. "Hasn't everyone?" The emperor didn't answer immediately, because the truth was, he had betrayed Lin Yue first. He had listened to rumors, believed accusations, allowed the entire palace to isolate him. Even now, Liang Zhen still didn't fully understand why Lin Yue had changed so drastically. But strangely, he no longer cared, because this version of Lin Yue felt real, more real than anyone else in the palace. The emperor stepped closer slowly, close enough to hear Lin Yue breathing, close enough to feel warmth between them, despite the cold air. "You still avoid me?" Liang Zhen murmured quietly. Lin Yue kept grinding herbs. "You're very clingy for an emperor." "Clingy?" "Yes." Liang Zhen stared at him in disbelief. No one had ever called the son of heaven clingy before. Then, unexpectedly, the emperor laughed softly, low, warm, dangerously fond, and Lin Yue finally realized something troublesome. Liang Zhen truly had fallen in love with him, completely, irrevocably. Unfortunately, Lin Yue still had absolutely no idea what to do about it. The snowstorm lasted 3 more days. Cold winds swept across the palace roofs, while servants hurried through the halls, carrying braziers and blankets. Inside the abandoned Eastern Palace, however, things had somehow become even more chaotic, because the wolf refused to let anyone accept Lin Yue near it, including the emperor. "You're growling at me in my own palace," Liang Zhen said, flatly, while staring at the massive gray wolf lying beside the bed. The wolf growled louder. Lin Yue sat nearby, calmly preparing medicine. "He doesn't like you, I noticed. You stare too intensely." The emperor looked offended. "I stare at you the same way." Lin Yue paused briefly. "That explains a lot." The servants standing nearby nearly choked, trying not to react. Liang Zhen, however, looked entirely shameless. "If it bothers you, stop being interesting." Lin Yue stared at him silently for several seconds before returning to the medicine bowl. "There is something deeply wrong with your majesty lately. And whose fault is that? You're the emperor. Take responsibility for yourself." Liang Zhen almost smiled again, almost. Because if he smiled too much around Lin Yue, the other man immediately looked suspicious, as though excessive happiness from the emperor was a warning sign. Honestly, it probably was. Later that evening, Lin Yue finally finished treating the wolf's injuries. The animal had eaten properly for the first time, and now rested comfortably near the fire. "That's good," Lin Yue murmured, quietly, while stroking its thick fur. "You're stubborn enough to survive." The wolf huffed softly and pushed its head against his hand. Liang Zhen watched from nearby with narrowed eyes. "You never touch me that gently." Lin Yue did not even look up. "You don't bite less than a wolf." The emperor actually looked thoughtful about that. "Fair." A servant suddenly entered the room nervously. "Your Majesty, the minister's request an emergency audience concerning the northern borders." Liang Zhen's expression immediately cooled. The warmth disappeared from his face so quickly it almost felt unreal. In an instant, he became emperor again, cold, untouchable, terrifying. "Tomorrow morning." The servant hesitated. They claimed it was urgent. Liang Zhen's voice lowered dangerously. "I said tomorrow." The servant instantly dropped to his knees. This servant obeys, then fled the room immediately. Silence settled afterward. Lin Yue glanced toward the emperor briefly. You skipped court again. They can survive one night without me. You say that every day now. Liang Zhen walked closer, slowly until he stood beside the fire. In an instant, he became emperor again. Cold, untouchable, terrifying. Tomorrow morning. The servant hesitated. They claimed it was urgent. Liang Zhen's voice lowered dangerously. I said tomorrow. The servant instantly dropped to his knees. This servant obeys, then fled the room immediately. Silence settled afterward. Lin Yue glanced toward the emperor briefly. You skipped court again. They can survive one night without me. You say that every day now. Liang Zhen walked closer, slowly until he stood beside the fire. Orange light flickered across his face, while snow drifted outside the windows behind him. You dislike my company? Lin Yue answered honestly. You're exhausting, and yet you allow me to stay. That's because you ignore refusals. The emperor looked pleased instead of insulted. Lin Yue found this increasingly concerning. Much later that night, after the servants retired and the palace grew quiet, Lin Yue finally prepared to sleep. You're here. The response came so naturally that Lin Yue momentarily forgot how to answer. That was the problem lately. The emperor spoke affection so casually now that it became difficult to react properly. Lin Yue looked away first. You should leave. Why? Because I want to sleep. Then sleep. Lin Yue narrowed his eyes. You cannot stay here overnight. Why not? Because you're the emperor. That sounds like a meaningless title right now. The cats nearby looked equally judgmental toward Liang Zhen's refusal to leave, especially the orange one. It had started openly hissing whenever the emperor sat too close to Lin Yue. Liang Zhen disliked that cat immensely. It teaches the others disrespect, he said coldly. Lin Yue looked horrified. You're jealous of a cat? I'm observant. You're insane. And yet you continue speaking to me. Lin Yue sighed heavily before climbing into bed. The emperor clearly had no intention of leaving, which meant arguing further was pointless. A few moments later, candlelight dimmed while silence filled the room. Snow tapped softly against the windows. The wolf slept peacefully near the fire, and somehow, the emperor still remained awake. Lin Yue eventually frowned from beneath the blankets. Why are you staring at me? You noticed? Yes. You're attractive. That is not a reason. It is to me. Lin Yue covered his face with one hand. You speak like a villain in cheap romance novels. Liang Zhen looked genuinely curious. You've read those? That is not the point. The emperor finally laughed softly again, low and warm enough to send strange tension through the quiet room. Unfortunately, Lin Yue had started noticing something dangerous recently. He was becoming used to Liang Zhen's presence. The nightly visits no longer felt strange. The sound of the emperor's voice no longer immediately annoyed him. And worst of all, the palace felt oddly empty whenever Liang Zhen did not appear. That realization alone was terrifying. Lin Yue stared silently at the ceiling for a long moment before suddenly speaking. You should stop this. The emperor's expression softened slightly. Stop what? This. Lin Yue gestured vaguely between them. The palace already believes you've lost your mind. Perhaps I have. I'm serious. So am I. Lin Yue slowly sat upright. Moonlight filtered through the windows, while silver light spilled across the room. You are the emperor, he said quietly. You cannot become attached to someone like me. Liang Zhen's gaze never left him. And what kind of person are you? A disgraced concubine? No. The answer came immediately. Certain. Firm. You are Lin Yue. For some reason. Those 4 simple words struck harder than they should have, because nobody in the palace spoke to him like that. To everyone else, he was only titles and rumors. Disgraced concubine, former favorite, palace scandal. But Liang Zhen looked at him as though none of that mattered, as though he only saw him Lin Yue looked away first. Dangerous. This was becoming dangerous. The emperor stood slowly before walking toward the door. For a brief moment, Lin Yue thought he was finally leaving. Instead, Liang Zhen opened the door, spoke quietly to a servant outside, then closed it again. "What are you doing?" "Sleeping." Lin Yue blinked. "Where?" The emperor calmly sat down directly outside the bedroom door. Lin Yue stared in disbelief. "You cannot sleep on the floor." "I can." "You're the emperor. You've mentioned that several times tonight." Lin Yue looked genuinely horrified now. If someone sees this, they won't speak. That is not comforting. The emperor leaned back against the wooden wall, completely unbothered. "I promised the wolf I would stay nearby tonight. The wolf did not ask you that. You cannot prove it." Lin Yue opened his mouth, then closed it again, because somehow arguing with Liang Zhen felt increasingly impossible. The emperor looked upward slightly. "Sleep, Lin Yue." The room fell quiet once more. Lin Yue stared at the closed door for a very long time afterward. Beyond it, he could still hear the emperor's steady breathing. Still there, still refusing to leave. And for the first time since arriving in this strange palace, Lin Yue felt something unfamiliar settle quietly in his chest. Not fear, not irritation, something softer, something far more dangerous. That's the end of this story. Hope you enjoyed it.